Activation code required. Access granted. Warning. Evacuation sequence activated.
Paranormal Bunker. You'll come on down and join Nikki, Robert, Kayla, and Cole. Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sit with us as we traverse the portals of the universe. Let loose the secrets of the cryptids. Make haste with the truth of conspiracy. And explore the hauntings of our world. And once again, welcome to the S4 Paranormal Bunker.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the S4 Paranormal Bunker. Tonight we are talking with Nikki and Robert, as usual. We got Kayla here again for the week.
Hey.
We let her back in the bunker this week. We're going to kick her out before Saturday, though, because the Seahawks are playing. So,
yeah, you let her in.
Friend, how you guys doing this week?
Awake. Here and awake. That's something.
A little bit wet. The river hasn't fully risen yet to its total amount with all the water going through the catchments, but they're thinking it's going to be between 7.2 and 8.2 meters in height. That's about it's a fair distance. 2011, I think, was 8.4 or 8.6, so it's going to be about that again.
So where you are right now, are you in danger there?
No, not here.
Okay.
The creek shows up here a bit, but then they've gone down again because it hasn't been raining for the last couple of days, but before that it was about 150 to nearly 200 mil of rain that fell.
Jesus.
So, yeah. And out of Claremont and Jericho, where we were looking at buying a piece of land, that was completely under. I can send you a link to it.
Well, that's a good thing you didn't buy there then.
I know. I was being told that there was something wrong with the place, and now I know what.
Right? We're just now... Friday is supposed to be the last day of atmospheric rivers for us. So we are just settling up.
And, that's fantastic.
This week has been weird though. It's spring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 55 degrees. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
Which is scary.
That's the way it is here too. Yeah, very. We've got buds on trees and plants and shrubbery that should not have buds on them right now.
Well, and I don't think winter's happened.
No, it hasn't. Look, we've got, I can't say that on air. There are certain insects that will go inside buildings at wintertime. They will not when it gets cold, but when it hits a certain level, a certain temperature outside, like we had last week, for a number of days, those insects will find a way inside.
Yeah,
And
those
so
little
think
bastards.
about that. Yeah, think about, yeah, no kidding. I have choice words. But anyway, think about that when you are own a home and you may not know that you've got a teeny tiny crack somewhere in a foundation or something. So just be aware of that kind of stuff, because insects will find a way.
So, you guys know those little stink bugs?
Mm-hmm.
Friend, that seem to
I
be
hate those little
everywhere across
buggers.
the world? Well,
Yes,
when we
they
came
are.
back after the flood, friend, John was, and we all came back to do some work here and get everything cleaned up. And John wanted to borrow my pair of overalls that I have from Carhartt. And I left them outside before the flood. And he went to put them on. All of a sudden, there are stink butts all over our front porch. We can't figure out where the hell they just came from. And then
God.
he started feeling them climbing up him.
Oh,
He shook out the pants. There was
I was
at
gonna
least,
his legs.
there was probably about 1,000 of them inside the pants. Friend.
Oh, that is so nasty. And he had his legs in them. Oh,
Yeah,
that is so nasty.
It was the most entertaining thing for me, honestly.
Oh,
Who
that's
doesn't
funny
look
as hell, but
before
it's
they put
so
something down that's been
disgusting.
outside?
Oh, that's so gross.
Friend, like, Robert, is that when that video first starts? Is it following a road?
Yep.
Huh.
And then there's a truck, a road convoy that had been going through and got stuck. They eventually got that out. So
Well, I don't think
it's
it
no
got
longer there.
stuck. I think it just didn't know where the hell to go anymore because the road disappeared. Friend, that's wild.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like it looks exactly like it did here for a while. Friend,
Oh, wow.
Jesus Christ.
Well, that's from the ex-tropical cyclone Koji. And they're now saying that it could affect Brisbane the same way, because Brisbane's the be-all and end-all of Queensland, isn't it? No, it's not.
Friend,
So that's about 5 to 6 hours west of here.
okay.
That
Oh,
video.
my.
Friend, well, and that's the thing though. 5 to 6 hours, it seems like a huge distance, but in the scheme of weather, it's not. Like, especially when it comes to cyclones and shit like that, like that stuff moves everywhere.
It does.
Friend, so, friend, everybody in Australia, just stay safe. Grab a kangaroo.
Yeah, no
and hold
kidding.
on.
As I was saying, floods up here and fire down in Victoria.
Yeah,
God.
friend, that's wild. Friend. So, tonight we are going to talk about what's been going on with Nikki for the last while, like for quite a while. Friend,
Number of years.
friend, where she has been getting attacked by my favorite thing she calls them, government asshats. Friend. So, and honestly, this made it really hard for me to title this show.
Oh, I'm
'Cause
sure.
I didn't know. Because every show I do is, every show when we name it, it's a pun or it's something funny.
Or it goes way off track.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it goes way off the fucking rails. So, originally, it was going to be ass hats and idiots. Because when I hear ass hat, I automatically think supernatural.
Hey, ass butt.
So, but because of what you call the weapons, the DEWs,
The Jews, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, you said "do" before, so the actual title of the show today is "Diddly Diddly Day." Right?
Imagine if they were firing them from a mountain, then they'd be Mountain Jews.
Well, and honestly, I just
Oh,
imagine
dear
like
God.
2 government employees that were kind of Ned Flanderish singing that song as they're trying to fire at Nikki. Right? So, what?
Say it, Kayla, say it.
I for some reason was just thinking of the new like Coca-Cola flavors and shit, and how they try everything. And then I was thinking of Mountain Dew with that, and I was like, Space Dew!
And I was trying to come up with something with Mountain Dew, and like...
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right.
Oh my god, okay, so I gotta say this really quick. They had a Mountain Dew that came out at Christmas time that was fruitcake flavored Mountain Dew.
That was last year.
It was the most disgusting fucking thing I have ever drank in my entire life.
What's with that look, Robert?
I had to get a 12-pack for the kids to try and everything, because I was like, alright, everybody's having some fruitcake. So it tasted like Mountain Dew with like an entire can of allspice put in it and cherry extract. I was like trying so hard not to puke. It was so bad. Wrong. What?
It's pronounced Old Spice.
Old Spice? No, it was allspice. It was not Old Spice. It might as well have been. It might have tasted better.
So.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, it wasn't fun. That was gross.
Funny.
I think they called it like fruit quake or something. I don't know. It was fucking disgusting.
Oh, that's awful. That's awful.
Okay, I gotta continue with this for a moment. This year, I actually found out I fucking hate fruitcake. I for years, I loved that shit. I have never tried one from a store.
They've all been homemade.
Oh my god, they're horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was so bad.
I was so disappointed in life. Like, that was the worst part of Christmas this year. Every fruitcake that I've ever had has been homemade, and they've been great. Friend.
Yeah, I think this one was like a Sears one from 1902 too. So I mean,
you bought it.
Oh god.
No, it was like Fred Meyer's or something, but it was fucking gross.
Friend, yeah, I was not a happy camper.
Well, I wasn't about to sit there and buy all the ingredients and make a fruitcake. Do you know how time-consuming and expensive that is?
Yes,
expensive.
we know. You don't love
it
us.
Is incredibly.
Mm-hmm. So I was like, no, not doing it. I'm just gonna buy a fucking fruitcake. I will never buy a fruitcake again.
This things and have it hang for about 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no. Robert, you're hearing the same thing.
Well, that's what my family used to do.
She just doesn't love us.
Yeah, well, you know.
What can you do?
Yeah.
I only love you as much as a fucking store-bought fruitcake. So deal with it.
They have Boxing Day for a reason.
You had what?
I have stories of our family making fruitcake for years. That's my grandmother and my mother would start in April, May, June, or June and July at the latest. Yeah. And there's stories about my mom and my grandma making fruitcake starting a year ahead of time and making it so that they can send it to wherever my uncle was in India, because he was I can't remember the name of the group he was with in the 1970s.
Peace Corps.
Peace Corps, thank you, Peace Corps.
Yep. Sorry, I don't know how the fuck I knew that, but yep.
Well, you and I may have talked about it before, because
for some reason I was like, no, totally, it was Peace Corps. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, and I'm very thankful you said that. So, but yeah, he was in the Peace Corps for a lot of years after he came back. He and my both of my great uncles came back from World War II, and there's stories about how when you got to remember, these two guys, they were over 6 feet tall, very tall guys, and these are kind of like cow boot wearing guys, you know, and here they are walking down, both of them walking down the street, neither one of them knowing that they got off the pier at the same time, two different ships, and they're carrying their duffel bags. They're in their Navy uniforms, and they're carrying their duffel bags. And my grandmother, there's stories of her seeing my great uncles. So they used to make, my mom and my grandma used to make fruitcake for the great uncles who were overseas, excuse me, during wartime or whichever time that they were gone military wise. And so here's these fruitcake stories that I grew up with throughout my life, and it was a really big deal in our family. Even to the point of when my uncle was in the Peace Corps, or one of my uncles was in the Peace Corps in India, he would receive a box of everything out of there. I don't remember what city he was in at the time, but he was really well out in the Thule, so to speak, in whatever city he was in, and nothing made it to him except for the fruitcake. Everything in the box was ripped open, but nobody touched that fruitcake. And the reason is because it was soused in brandy and cognac or some other, excuse me, or even whiskey, some other form, but typically brandy or cognac. And it had been soaked for over 6 months. Yeah. It apparently sealed in the stench over time because it would take them months by the time that they would mail it. And it would take months to get there. And so, and that was in the 60s, and he ended up at Tonga. And so when my mother and I ended up going to Tonga, that was one of the things that she made sure that my uncle had the previous year. She couldn't bring it to him because he couldn't. It's weird. You could mail it, but you couldn't take it through customs in any country. Excuse me. So I found that interesting. So, so in '79, when we went to Tonga, when Mom and I went to Tonga to visit him, she's like, well, I could take him other things, but I can't take him the fruit. She was really upset she couldn't take him the fruitcake. So, because you start that, depending upon when you start it, typically between April and June, and because it needs to have its, I call it the fermentation.
Yep.
Yeah, because he's potent when small. And my mom stopped putting quite so much brandy and polluting it so much. And then I found a recipe that I dearly loved. I can't find it anywhere. And it's got mincemeat. And I hated fruitcake because of growing up with that fruitcake. I was not a fruitcake fan. And I found a recipe, and I made my own recipe out of that using different kinds of dried fruit and not the candied stuff. And man, it went gangbusters in 90. God, see my kid. Oh, and happy birthday to my son. So yeah, and so. Everybody loved that, including my kid at the time, and kids hated fruitcake. So yeah, that's our little year's worth of family fruitcake stories, and I stopped making it. Yeah, debacles and stuff. We stopped making it in 1999. It just started becoming really expensive, but I haven't been able to find that recipe that I created. That it was off of. It wasn't a Betty Crocker, or because it had the mincemeat, and all these other recipes do not use mincemeat. And it made it, excuse me, really more tender, very flavorful. And I hate mincemeat. I'm not a fan. But when you put it in with the right kind of, or for me anyway, the right kind of fruit, that's not the jarred candied stuff, it really made a difference. And then add some fresh, really well chopped ginger to it, or ginger. You squeeze the ginger juice out of the ginger. Can't think of what that's called either. But anyway, it's like mincing garlic. Oh, shush.
Nikki,
I'm
how
really
many
sorry.
gingers do you use in this recipe?
I could just see you grabbing this like red-headed kid and
Ed
squeezing
Sheeran.
him.
Ed Sheeran.
Gotta get that ginger juice.
Well, yeah, because if you've got that sweetness, you gotta have a little touch of spice to it. So,
So
I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say a
Gingers are
little touch
spicy.
of Satan.
Well,
I was like, oh
well,
god.
we all know we all know gingers don't have souls, so yeah.
Those are some soulless cakes. God.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. So that's the story of fruitcake in our family. But yeah, I've got these wonderful stories of hearing my grandmother tell the story, and then hearing both my mom and my grandmother tell the story, and during my childhood, and then she had died in 1979, and so then when my mom talked about it, it's like I could still hear my grandmother with my mom when my mom was actually talking about this story and retelling it, and when my grandfather was there, because my grandparents were still married at the time, and long before they ever divorced, and so it was quite the family story of hearing my grandmother see my grandmother standing on the porch, and mom talking about how she was on the porch and she saw her great uncles from down the street, and she hollered for her mom, and her mom comes and which is my grandmother. Her mom comes and stands out on the porch, and she starts screaming, and they're not even half a block away. They're quite further away, and you got all three very tall, very svelte people, and they are running to each other. These three siblings, and it's when my grandmother told it, I didn't realize that she was projecting. So I have some of my grandmother's memories in my head from when I was a child, when she's describing her memories. I just heard my grandmother. My grandmother just said, "I didn't know I did that." I didn't know my grandmother was here. That was really sweet. I didn't expect that. That was really, really sweet to hear. So it's really endearing. And it wasn't that I could just, she's just being a kid. She's just imagining it. Well, I didn't understand what all I could do and what all of that meant. And I had no idea what it meant when you have a family member say, because hello, I was a little kid. I had no idea what it meant that Navy uniforms, when the guys are coming off, they're coming off in their white uniforms. I didn't know that. There's no way I could have known that. Nobody frickin' described it. And so here I am, this little kid. Oh, he was in his white cap. Huh, Grandma? What?
Okay,
She didn't understand that.
I gotta be honest, I spaced out for a second, and we went from fruitcakes to white caps, and I was super confused.
No.
Okay. I was like, oh, wait a minute, what?
Describing my grandmother's memories, because she was projecting and I could see them as a little kid.
Okay.
And she was describing her brothers coming off the Navy ships that they were on and walking up the street. Only thing is she never said what color the uniforms were. There's no way I could have known. Mm-hmm. And I told her about the caps that they were wearing, and she was just like, "What?" She goes, yeah, they were all wearing white uniforms. And that's how I found out that they were wearing white uniforms, even though I could see it in my head, because she was projecting.
I had a couple of uncles that wore white uniforms, too. But,
Those are white and black striped.
oh!
Now they're orange. Fred.
Oh, man.
So it's just fun when you remember hearing stories and almost kind of like living it vicariously through them and their memories. I completely forgot my grandmother had done that until talking about it. So thank you.
Now,
But yeah, fruitcake stories. There's some really interesting stories that my mom used to tell about my great uncle receiving stuff in India.
I
Really
only
interesting.
have
And
one
things that I
fruitcake in my
will not make
family.
very public. You only have one?
Kayla, God damn it.
Sorry.
You're not allowed to call them that anymore.
I didn't hear it, and I don't know if I want to ask.
I said, honestly, I only have one fruitcake in my family.
Oh, that's not what I thought I heard.
Okay. Before we actually get to our main topic, I want to talk about a
Yeah.
video that Nikki shared this week with us.
I shared one. Oh, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Holy
And
crap.
So here's the thing. I just posted that video in our Facebook
Oh, wow.
thing.
Thing.
Facebook page.
Facebook page. That's it. That's what we have.
Thing.
Fred,
Oh, shit.
the first thing I got to ask, Nikki, is why? Do you remember why you shared this with us?
Was that the one of the dog or the cat?
The dog.
Dog. And
No.
That's
There was something about it. Yeah, I got really pissed off. I was really angry, and I'm like, there should be absolutely no reason why. And I wanted you guys to see it. Well, eventually, at some point, maybe talk about it. I didn't expect tonight, though. But when paranormal goes after an animal and not an adult, even a teenager, anywhere from infants to teenagers or animals, no. That's where I get the protection, the mama protection comes out in me hardcore, and I'm like, oh, that MF needs to go out now.
So I
Be
agree with you.
removed from that property.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Here's my problem with this particular video.
What's that? Was it AI?
No, it's not paranormal. It's staged. It's old-fashioned.
See, that's
staged.
what I was. That's what I was wondering. I couldn't decipher, but it made the point with me about the fact of paranormal going after animals, and that's where I was coming from. I knew the potentiality for it being faked. Oh, believe me, I know.
Because the problem is when the doors blow open, they
Yeah,
all blow
but
open
did you
at the
see the
exact
wires?
same amount. You
Oh,
don't
that's
see
not
wires.
right.
Or they all blow open at the exact same time, and a spark goes off at the time they're opened.
See, I watched that 5 or 6 times. I didn't see the spark, but because I was watching for something else, I was watching for something real specific.
Yeah,
And I
it's
did
in
debate-
the middle. It's in the middle door, but the problem is if it's a spark from paranormal, it's not going to create smoke.
Mm.
If it's a spark
Exactly.
from flashbang, it
Spark in there.
absolutely is going to create smoke. Right, and there is visible smoke at the top of the screen at the end.
And there's no shadows under the dog's feet.
Holy shit, you're right. At all.
I looked for those sort of details. No shadows whatsoever underneath the feet.
Friend, fuck me. Like
No.
No.
we talked about this. It's gonna happen.
Whoa!
What?
I cannot afford a plane ticket to Australia right now.
You like how that's her only argument?
Just for you to get your jollies. No.
Jesus,
No, but like,
guys.
I really hate how these. Okay, I guess that's my first problem with it. The group that originally posted it is called Scare Street, Scary Stories for Horror Fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get you're trying to educate, I guess,
Yeah.
but at the same time, then educate with real documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I don't want to actually see a video where a dog gets scared like this.
No.
But at the same time, I
No,
don't
it's
want a
not
video
okay.
of a fake dog. Unless it's Scooby.
Yeah.
And that's not Scooby.
No, that wasn't.
He doesn't have his collar on.
Exactly.
So,
That was a dead giveaway. It wasn't Scooby.
yeah!
There was no collar that said Scooby on it.
It
I
says
know that-
Yeah, no,
SD, not
My
Scooby.
glasses, I can't see a thing without my glasses.
No, my point with it was specifically if you've got paranormal that is that that is happening where it's that bad and it's literally going after your infants, your human infants, your animals who are, I mean, hello, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to paranormal, and paranormal does go after animals periodically, and that was really pissed me off, but it hit because it hit a sore subject with me, a real sore subject. Then you've got to actually deal with that kind of situation. I mean, like, seriously hardcore deal with it. I've seen, I've seen more and more videos that are real. I've also seen a lot of videos that are not. And they're not AI. They are staged, like what you're talking about, Cole. And it's very annoying, but real ones that are going after where you've got cats that are trying to protect infants in their cribs. And when you've got a cat trying to protect an infant, that's a big deal. That's something that I grew up with. And my mother, when I was 8 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old, before my grandmother died, and before she went into a nursing home facility, used to talk about my grandmother. The cat that they had when I was an infant would always sleep next to the head of my bed. And my grandmother would throw a fit because she was raised where that was a major, major, major no-no. And no-no because back then they were concerned, and this is how my mom described it to me, was that the cat would take the air and suffocate the infant. And, or, what was the other one? There was a religious factor with that where the cat would, where the cat would steal the infant's breath. That's how it was termed, steal the infant's breath. And I don't remember how, but it had something to do with a religious belief. And I was like, wait a minute, what? And then my mom would pipe in, oh, that you got to remember, Grandma's father was a Baptist preacher, and he had some very strong beliefs about very specific things. And to them, at that time, this was considered from the devil. And I was like, I mean, I remember being this young kid and thinking how bizarre that was to me. And then later, as I grew up into my teenage years, how I understood, medical, there's suffocation. So they were really concerned about the suffocation factor and just threw in the religious factor of it. But so here you have a cat who was sleeping around the head of my bed, and I understand I've understood since the time I've been, I think, 14, that that cat was my protection. She was, I can't remember her name, which is weird because she was with us for a number of years until they had to find a new home for her because my parents divorced and all of that. But so the cat was protecting me from different paranormal and different entities that were coming around. And I find it fascinating how certain animals will do that. They will go to the most vulnerable and they will find a way to protect that most vulnerable. Now, it's interesting to me because that will happen also with senior citizens who are not really aware. And I do mean like folks who are in their 80s who may have Alzheimer's or dementia, or they're not really quite at that level, but they're not exactly with it either. And they may be like falling asleep and the cat will jump up onto the recliner edge and start batting away whatever. So I find that fascinating. But at the same time, so you've got vulnerability there. You've got real vulnerability when you've got dealing with paranormal that does that. And it's very maddening coming from, for me, someone like me, it's very angering when you deal with paranormal that goes after those who are vulnerable. It's absolutely not okay. And I get very angry over it. And it was that video was a really good example. Real or not, it was a really good example of that. And I was like, oh, this is at some point got to be talked about. Didn't expect it tonight, though.
Fran, I
What?
like, no, but otherwise it gets forgotten. And,
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Our weeks are half the time they're full as hell with everything that's going on, and then sometimes. So the moment something's brought onto there that I think we should handle or
talk about,
yeah, because like there's so many points to that one video.
Oh God, yeah.
Like,
and you gotta remember if I sent that when I remember sending it, I was extremely out of it.
Like, the only thing we gotta make sure of is that we can't have Zach Bagans watch that video. I mean, he'll try and buy that fucking dog, and put it in a museum.
Oh dear.
Sorry.
Oh dear.
Okay.
What?
Calm down now.
Fran.
So yeah, it just that kind of those situations. They're very. If you've got some kind of situation to where you got it on camera, it's real, and you've got paranormal that is actually throwing doors open, or I mean, hey, and the thing is that I've experienced some weird shit in my life, but when you're on video and you hear a glass container being dropped, and the person was literally in the process, in the background, on video, literally walking in. They're nowhere near any kind of items in the kitchen because they're still in the process, and something is being thrown at them, and then that glass shatters. I've seen that. I've witnessed, I've heard of other things and that was the 17-year-old spirit who was pissed off. She was pissed off she wasn't getting attention, and she's one of the ones that I crossed over. Now, granted, not all of them are spirits. They could be something malevolent, and that's what you have to watch out for. Yeah, try to say that 10 times fast when you feel like coughing.
Fran.
So,
we
anyway.
had different experiences. I will tell you that. Like, most of the animals we had in our house, I always felt like were mostly hellspawn. So, they were the malevolent being.
I've had a couple of animals like that.
Yeah. Fran, like, I've
Not
never,
many, but a couple.
I don't get along very well. Like, there's a few I have, but most animals and me, when we're in the same shared space, we don't get along.
Yeah, Cole is not a pet owner.
No.
He's just not.
Fran,
But you know, some people are and some people aren't.
that's my damn
It's true.
bed.
At
Not
least he
their
knows
bed.
enough to not get one.
This is true because there are a lot of people who are pet owners that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, truly. So, I mean, I've seen some really. I've had to report some stuff too, and I'm like, God. But yeah, not good. At least you know that about yourself, Cole. That's a big deal.
Well, it's
Not many people know it.
Fran, the way I look at it is we struggle half the time with just taking care of ourselves. If you can't take care of yourself, you shouldn't be taking care of a pet. Fran, they deserve better than that.
Yep.
Fran, and then like, Fran, there's just so many things
well,
that.
for me, it's the time. If you can't give enough time to actually properly train an animal or to take it on walks or to do the things that need to happen in order for that animal to have a good life, then you shouldn't have one.
Fran, and I am the type of person that if I see someone take their dog for a walk and let it crap in someone's yard and then walk away, Fran,
Yeah, that's not okay.
I carry extra paper and stuff in my pockets so I can pick that up and just lightly put it in the person's purse or like backside or wherever the hell I can toss it. Fran, that's yours. You
Garbage
keep it.
can.
Fran,
Yeah, garbage cans. Yeah, we always carry extra bags with us just because you never know if an animal will have to go to the bathroom a couple of times while you're out, not just once.
yeah. Fran, well, yeah, as soon as John got Moose, I got him one of those little rolls of bags and
Yep.
the little mechanism that attaches them to the freaking leash.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew
It's a big
for a
deal.
fact John was going to be one of those owners who wanted to take him for a walk, even though it's a cat. Fran,
And he did 1.5 million times.
yeah, and then John
Well,
realized he
I know
wasn't
people that- yep.
important.
Oh.
And, well, then, because Moose figured out, well, I don't need you to go for a walk. I can do it myself. So,
Yeah, animals are an interesting thing, and when they're protecting the innocent, that's a kind of a big deal.
see, and that's
You gotta
the problem.
take
We've
notice
never
of that
had
stuff.
one that does that.
Well, we had Caddy. Caddy was pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, Caddy was cool. But I treated her like a farm implement, so. Well, no, like she was
She was
Don't
an
think I want-
No, she was an outdoor cat.
She was an outdoor cat, so she is there to keep mice away. She
Yeah.
gets fed every once in a while, just in case there's not that many mice that night. But she is not.
Every once in a while. Yeah, I don't want to know. We'll talk about it after.
Well, no, like
No,
it's just the fact that like at the time the house had so many mice underneath it because we had just went through a flood. That was her job.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And she ate 'em.
That was her job.
She loved eating them.
Yeesh.
Frick, we put her under the
Yeah,
house and all
cats
of a
have a
sudden she
different
got fat.
digestive system. Yeah.
So, but like every once in a while, we'd give her dry food as a treat.
Yeah.
Something she didn't have to work for.
Yeah.
And then she'd get regular like catnip treats.
Yeah.
Once she was old enough for them.
She was just she did her job well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until
she was the
she found
most-
something that she couldn't beat. I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden she was gone.
But she's the most protective cat we've ever had. John was little, and he was playing outside, and this big, huge dog came running at him, and it was going to jump on him, and Caddy jumped in between and pushed the dog out of the way and was growling at it and made it run away. It was crazy.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure she took fur when she jumped at it. Like when she kind of jumped off him, she took fur with
Yeah,
her.
she was super protective of the boys.
And then one
Yeah.
time we watched her take mole. She waited by a mole hole and she ripped it out of the freaking hole and then walked away, like kind of bounced away with it.
Yes,
Friend.
I've seen cats do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Friend.
it's the weirdest version of cat and mouse I've ever seen. But yeah, I've seen that.
My buddy had a cat. So his parents bought this cat feeder because they went away on vacation for a week, where it just pressed a button and it would dispense food. But I think it was meant for a dog because it had a 20-pound bag of food in the top. And when they came back in a week, all 20 pounds were gone.
Whoa.
He couldn't jump onto a step stool anymore. Friend.
He was so fat.
Like this, it was Garfield with diabetes. Friend.
Oh.
But still figured out how to live his life. He used to lay in the backyard and he'd pretend he was dead. And the birds would swing down and get as close as they could to him to see if he was actually dead so they could start eating him. And as they got close enough, he reached out, grabbed one, and ate it.
Wow.
So, even though he had weight problems, he figured out life. Friend. Coolest cat ever. But
Yeah, I've had some really awesome animals.
well, and that's the thing. It's amazing how much more they can see than us.
Yeah, truly.
Friend, that's actually something I want to ask him later about with the topic. I gotta remember that. So we're gonna, in order to do this, I couldn't figure out how to really get this going.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki, could you give us a quick overview of what's been happening?
The long and the short of it is when I was 19, my family and I got to unexpectedly have access to what we were told was a hidden U.S. government book that had everything on ufology. And I mean everything from the very beginning. And we were like, that's a whole nother subject. So it goes from that into, so that was in the 1980s. We were ordered, all of us felt like we were essentially threatened to keep it secret. And we only ever talked about it twice after that as a family. And there was a witness to those conversations, but that witness does not remember. They remember the conversation of the book. They just don't remember much of what was talked about it. So there is a witness that is alive, that is living, that does remember those family conversations. Specifically those two conversations. And that was in the 90s. And then in 2019 or in 2018, I went on to the UFOI team. Was invited to come on by Michael W. Hall, and ended up in 2019 at my very first Paracon, and I had this instinct to, but I was so inundated at the same time with so many things, because that was my birthday week. But the Paracon was actually in March, and I ended up, to my shock, finding out that somebody that was retired government, and now it's being talked about that this individual is supposedly none of their three-lettered agency work can be verified. Hello, I can freaking verify it, because of what's happened to me. Because I went to ask this individual about this book because I got to be up my butt to ask him about it. if it was even a true book, if he had heard anything about it, because I'd been looking. I'd been trying to find a way to at least have it validated. If it was even potentially a real book, if it wasn't a fake book, because I do know that there were ways to create that, and it wasn't until 2020 that I found out. Yeah, that was confirmed by Tom Whitmore on who's a retired MUFON. Can't remember if he was. Yeah, he was a state director with MUFON and had access to a bunch of different information, and he had validated it publicly on air. It was a live broadcast at the time, and so that's where all of my targeting comes from. And because I had specifically gone at this Paracon to ask about, well, not gone there to ask about this book, but unexpectedly came across this one individual who I thought potentially could have, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I had guides that were trying to pull me away. And I understand that now, but I wasn't registering that because, like I said, I was so inundated regarding the psychic and people coming up to me and touching me, and I was trying to do so many different clearings of my body, and I was really out of it, but I knew I had to have this information. Well, lo and behold, 4 days after I get home from the Paracon, I am psychically attacked, and that's when I find out that the U.S. government has what I call it's not what it's called, but I just don't know what else to call it. It's a form of a dream warfare type of program. And it's a psychic program, but it's a PSYOP. It's a deep, deep government program. And these guys were the guys that came at me were military. And the following day, because I protected myself, I didn't know what was happening to me. I just knew I was under psychic attack. And the short answer to all of this is that's how all of this. So I went to protect myself, and they came back at me, trying to entice me to teach them how to do what I did to protect myself, all of this, and the targeting went from there. So that was 2019, and now we're into 2026, and almost 7 years later, and it's gone from that kind of targeting into direct energy weapon technologies targeting, and basically with them using this kind of stuff on me. And the progression has been quite significant since they started with that. It's gotten quite worse. And then before the dues, they had progressed into government asshats in Astral, who had been witnessed not just by me, but by two other individuals. One who is sitting on video right across from me, is across the pond. And I've talked about that publicly, and I mean, they've tried to target him as well. So all because of asking about this government book. Well, if this government book wasn't real, then why target me? Well, apparently it's real, and then you add. So that's the short end of this. That's the condensed version I can do of this. Because of that government book. That's where all of my stuff stems from. And to have these MFers in Astral be witnessed by other people who are in Astral or who are psychic themselves and can actually see them via different psychic methods is a big deal, because it validates what is taking place with me, and it's their eyewitness testimony. Now, one of them is also retired government. Hello. Somebody that I know, yeah, exactly. Got the middle finger sticking up. Yeah, I agree. So, it's all because of what I know about this book, and because I've publicly stated, and I stated to that individual at in 2019 that I had a photographic memory. I've had it since childhood, from birth, and I essentially what we would call a screenshot. That's what I did with my memories. I literally remember looking at the book with a page open, knowing that I wasn't going to be able to read that page because I had already done so much reading of so many what I call chapters. They're not chapters. I just don't know what to call them because that's how they look to me. New section of the book. And I'd done so much actual reading to comprehend what was going on in this book. And then I went, I need to remember every single page in this book. And so what I did is I'd open to the next page and I'd look down the page, I'd scroll down the page so that my eyes would register line after line after line after line of what was written. And then I would look at the page and I would focus on it and like do a photograph of it. And I don't know how else to it for my eyes. That's the only way that I can describe how I did it. And with doing that, I did that page after page. And after so many pages, you get into a routine to where you can do that really fast. And so I went through the entire book, beginning to end, and not just what I read, but I did that for the entire book. Well, that really pissed off some folks. And the individual who is now continuing to be on other people's podcasts, there's no way in hell I will ever freaking support this individual or even promote this individual, because they are also the individual that tried to hypnotize me on the spot in public with other people around without asking my permission. And being retired agency government, anywhere from 3 to multi-letter agency government, it became a real, I take real issue with somebody like that, and there's no way in hell I will ever promote, I have choice words about that individual. And my certain mods on my show know I will not keep that name. If somebody mentions that name, I'm like, nope, get rid of it. I do not want that. That's like bad juju in my chat. So, so there's a few of my mods on my YouTube channel that no, there's certain names you don't. Nope. We get rid of them, and that's one of them. And there's a dang good reason why, because 4 days after I got home, within that time frame. The only way this could have happened, the only way that I could have been targeted, is if that man, that specific retired agent, with the things that he was capable of doing, none of this would have been taking place if it had not have been for him. So, and if it had, bluntly, put blame where it's at, it's on my own fault. I understand that. They say curiosity killed the cat. Well, hello. Here's little Miss Kitty. So,
Whoa.
well, and they haven't. I mean, they've tried. That's what they're doing now with the frequency weapons, the DEW weapons, the microwave technology. That's exactly what they're trying to do with me. They're trying to slowly murder me.
Yeah,
by using those frequency weapons.
If they can't have you on their side, they just don't want you out there.
Yeah, they've tried to buy me off. They've headhunted me. And what that means is if you're in any kind of industry where they've got somebody who is higher up, who has in the whatever business, I'm not talking government, I'm talking about every industry out there on this planet, and you get somebody who registers, oh, you're a talent in this, they want you. And it's a form of what different industries know as headhunting.
Yeah.
And so that was what happened the following day with these government asshats who were in what I call psychic warfare, dreamland or dream warfare. That's essentially what they were doing with me. They had been they were psychic. They had abilities, and then they went into a program. They were military guys, is what they originally were, because I can spot. And I made this very public, because of family, because of being around, living in the Skagit Valley, constantly going from Mount Vernon into Anacortes or Whidbey Island. You have Whidbey Island Naval Air Station, Whidbey NAS, and so you have a lot of military coming and going. That entire Oak Harbor is a military town, is how I look at it.
Yeah.
And so you got a lot of military coming and going in the Skagit Valley into Whidbey Island, and that's kind of a big deal. So you register who's military because there's a certain walk. And these guys were the one who was the head was I think he was 42, somewhere between 42 and 44, but if I remember correctly, the psychic information that I got off of him was he was 42, because when the other guys came back at me the following day, after they had come into my dream, because it was a lucid dream, they the following day, because when I protected them, I protected myself, and basically in that protection, I did a full everything in me form of protection method. And when they came back the following night at me and linked with me during another lucid dream I was in, they're offering me a job within their own deep government program. While they were doing that, I somehow, and I didn't understand this at the time, I get it now, and I don't know if I'm going to go in and talk about that publicly, but I connected with every single one of them with their own minds, and I was inundated with download after download after download regarding from their own minds, because they were not protecting their own minds. They didn't know how to double, triple, or quadruple layer their forms of protection. By this point in my life, I knew how, because I'd been well freaking trained. I had the ones in 1980, who I think, I can't even begin to thank them enough. I don't even know how to thank them. I don't even know where the hell they are. But I thank them, because if it were not for them, they were the beginning of how I learned how to start to protect myself. And then I met somebody in the 2000s, vast years ago, and that individual became family to me, and he was government. And knew things that typical government individuals did not know. And that's how I'm going to say that. And that's how I'm going to word it. And And because of him, he taught me even more. And he knew. He knew. That's just where I'm going to say it. He knew information, and he kept it very well hidden from me, and he kept me very, very well protected. His own handlers didn't know about me. They may now, but back then they didn't have a clue. And this is the guy who was damn good at what he did. So good that they wanted him repeatedly. So I unexpectedly found out that this individual, I mean, there were things that he was willing to do for me. And I was like, oh my God, freaked out over the things that he would talk about with me. But I kept it very calm and very cool. And he used to ask me when he first met me, who the hell are you? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, you should have been FBI. You should have been CIA. And I'm like, what the? I literally remember telling him, I'm a nobody. What the hell are you talking about? He goes, you don't get it. You don't see it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he would say to me, he goes, you have capabilities that the FBI and that the CIA would want. And I'm like, what?
Well,
Oh.
and you
And he
gotta
goes,
remember, Nikki.
I was psychic. I was picking up on stuff on him all the time. And he was like,
Nobody's make the best agents.
yeah.
Like,
So
really do.
I just he used to tell me, I know people that don't even have, that are in government, that do not have the kind of abilities that you have. You would be an incredible asset. And we had conversations about this very subject. And I'm like, I never had any opportunities. See, I thought I was extremely naive, even when I was talking with him. And I didn't think I was naive at all. I just knew a lot of different information. But having that knowledge and that information, I was still extremely naive about what. And he was very careful with what he would tell me. He goes, if you knew of the programs that I know about, and that's all he would say. He used to say that, and then he'd say that the arms, because I used to talk about when I'd receive psychic information, I was on the phone or on, I was just about to reveal something and I just realized I can't say that. But when he and I were talking, it wasn't just on the phone, but anyway, when he and I were talking, I used to get psychic information, and he's like, what's happening? And I'm like, the hairs on my arms were standing straight up. And I mean, every part, I mean, my head, my arms, everywhere. I mean, it was just like, wow. And so he would tell me, it's like when the hair on your body would stand straight up, or you get, he didn't call it prickly skin, chicken skin. He used to call it chicken skin. And so he's like, you got to pay attention to that. And I'm like, oh, I do, but it's just really surprising and an eye-opener. And I'd get information on different things, but his guides were blocking some of the information I would receive. So I'd get these weird, and it was for my protection. That's why they were doing it that way. I would get these weird, like, military, like they're in the battlefield, and like clipses, and then there's like a blank spot. It's like completely, I don't know how to say it. It's like you're watching something on TV, and then all of a sudden, 3 feet in front of you, 2-3 feet in front of you, everything, the entire vision, everything that you're viewing in front of you goes completely, not snow white, but, and not just fuzzy. It's like a 6-inch layer of, what is that glass where you've got clear glass in a bathroom. They're blocks. Excuse me?
Opaque.
Opaque. Yeah, everything goes opaque.
Or in other words, if you're a gamer, lag.
Yeah.
And so you got this 6-inch deep of this opaqueness, and you can see movement on the other side, but you can't even frickin' tell what's on the other side. All you can see is light and movement, but you can't see a body because you can't distinguish a human body from a tank or a militaristic vehicle, or you just can't. And then all of a sudden it would open up. So they had me extremely well protected. So there was never anything that can be construed as treasonous or anything. Because I was actually asked that by a retired officer when I asked about this, by that point, deceased individual. And they said, is there anything that you can think of that could be considered as treasonous? And I was like, no, absolutely nothing. He never revealed. He kept me so freaking protected that I could only imagine, and I didn't want to imagine anything because he, the things I could feel it from him. I could feel the kind of action that he had experienced, but I could not. How do I say this? I couldn't psychically see it. I couldn't. It wasn't like muscle memory on me, like when I go through SSP memories. It's not like, or when I go through memories of when I've been on board ET ship. This is a completely different kind of feeling. But I could feel it in me, and he was real freaking careful with anything he talked about, even when he was drunk. Because a lot of these guys, they will drink in order to do escapism, and that kind of stuff. So there were times where, not very many, but there were times when he would drink, and even when he connected, telepathically connected he and I together, and he knew how to do that. And part of that came, and I do know that part of that came from what they taught him in certain, I'm just going to call it military because I don't know what else to call it. I know what I want to call it, but I've never had confirmation of it. So in some of his military teachings, and so when he connected me telepathically, even if he was drunk, he had things blocked. For example, he's like, okay, I want you to walk through the door that you see. And I'm like, door? He's like, I want you to describe it. And then all of a sudden there's a door. And I'm like, so I would describe the door. He's like, do you see? And I'm like, no, I see it on a different door. He's like, there's 2 doors. And I'm like, yeah. And I describe it. He goes, oh, you need to go through. And he's like, look for this on the door. And I would open the door, and he's like, okay, now everything's, I said black and white. Why did you put it in black and white? He goes, because I didn't want to scare you with blood. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he would allow me access to glimpses, and I do mean glimpses, things that I can't identify people. I can't identify shit in it other than, oh, there's a body coming at him. He's in hand-to-hand combat. There's a blurred vehicle coming at me, and I can sort of see, because it's so blurry, because he's made it so blurry. And then there were times where he would show me different scenes, and they were absolutely crystal freaking clear. So he was extremely, even when he was drunk, he was extremely good at doing what he did. And that kind of teaching I have since learned years, vast years later, that only came from very specific kind of deep government programs, amongst other things that I saw. So I knew back then that, I mean, I just knew who he was, who he said he was. And we never used his real name. Not ever. I was never to remember his real name, his real information, because that would keep me safe. And he was right, because after he's died, it has kept me safe. Totally and completely, in the sense of they haven't figured out who he is. And I know other psychics who have, where he's come to them and he has said hello. So that gets kind of interesting, because, and I will know if it's really him. There are certain things that they will say, and it's like, I've had people try to fool me. And it's like, you're full of shit. Because there's kind of like a unwritten code between he and I. I don't know how to say it, but so I know when people try to bullshit me and lie, because not only do I feel the right energy when he is around, or when he's with the person who has said, well, you've got somebody here and this is what da. And then there's some one thing, and it could be a wide variety of subject matters. Doesn't matter what it is, but only I will know it. And I've had other people try, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, and they're full of shit. It's not him. And they're like, wow, okay, come on, guys, really? So yeah, it gets real interesting. So, and I'm very thankful for him, because he is one of the ones who helped teach me further ways to protect myself, to lock down certain memories that in your own head, if somebody tries to access them in a very specific way, you can trigger, because they're connected to you, you can trigger, it's kind of like a device that they use in military. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like a device to where if you hit that trigger mark, honey, you gonna be dead. Because what it does is it reverberates back to the soul who's trying to connect you. So he essentially, that's not how he put it. That's not even remotely what he talked about, or how he talked about this little piece of information. But because of him, I learned very specific techniques. And I have since, after he died, he told me to lock it down even further. And when he said that to me from the other side, I knew exactly what he meant. I cannot describe it. I cannot explain it. He never said anything else. He never trained me beyond any, and I locked it down in a way that makes it so that they think they've gotten some things, and it's funny because it's not even close. Because I caught them. They were in the process. They had changed up their folks in, because they were constantly changing people up when they realized that I can recognize military in how they even when they're in dream and psychic connection, they still walk that way. They walk like they and they've tried to fool me, and it's just, you guys are so effing stupid. I mean, seriously. And to where now if they go in and do that, they try using the younger generation. And the last time they tried was in December. It was either at the very end of December, or the very beginning of the month of this month of January, and I just laughed. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! You're not young, you're not old, but really, I'm like, seriously, and I was like, yeah, okay, you guys are being stupid. And they're trying to change it up, and yet, thank God that I do lucid dreaming, because that's for me with this kind of targeting. It's the only way that I've been able to protect myself. But yeah, the targeting with the DEW weapons, that gets very real. It hurts. It's very painful. The microwave weaponry is, and I had a really. I got hit really hard in the last few days, so much so, and my ears have finally stopped ringing. They're not ringing. It's a form of like white noise,
Okay.
but not quite white noise. It's like auditory bzzz type of thing, but it's and my neck and the back of my shoulders burn, which means they're going not from the front of me, they're going from the back of me, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is not cool. Well, it's not cool either way, but so like very specific skin burns, on top of everything else that I've already been medically going through in the last 2 weeks, which has not been fun. I've had an excessive amount of hormonal migraines, and I don't appreciate that at all. And that's not due to them. That's just, hello, I'm at a 57-year-old, soon to be 58-year-old body, and hello, that's just how it frickin' is. So, so yeah, the targeting has been really wicked. I actually sleep with, for the last 2 months now. And I don't know why I didn't think about this sooner. If I had thought about it sooner, I would have been doing it. But being hit with frequency weapons, I now sleep with literally metal blankets. I put my blankets on. I cover my head with a cloth, and I've got aluminum blankets that go essentially, if I can keep my knees covered, that would be great, because when I get nailed, everything's protected, my head all the way down to my knees, but if the blanket slips up or down, it doesn't cover my knees all the way, and oh my god, my knees, my joints hurt really bad in my knees, and it makes it really tough to walk. So that's always fun. So if you are targeted by a frequency weapons, think about using Faraday true, because there are a lot of fake ones out there, true Faraday blankets. I would also highly recommend, and I haven't done this for myself, but getting PVC pipes and creating building yourself a canopy over your bed so that you can get in and out of your bed, and make that canopy. If you can't use PVC pipes and you'd rather use wood, I'd rather personally have wood, but hello, for the posts and stuff. Oh, shut it. Robert's trying not to laugh.
Well, Nikki, you and wood just seem to keep popping up on this show.
Yeah, it really kind of does, doesn't it? No, my cheeks are going bright red. Anyway, that's not how I meant it. But anyway.
Did you stroke it and see if it was...
Oh my god.
Nikki wasn't trying to talk about the wood. Though.
I'm just saying, there's a huge difference in types of wood. I mean, there's soft woods, there's hard woods,
There's Pinocchio's nose.
There's redwoods, there's blackwoods, there's balsa woods. I mean, come on now.
Oh my god. Yes, and see, I grew up around... Okay, never mind.
You grew up around a lot of wood? Uh-huh. That happens in Washington.
I was going to make a very logical comment, but I realized, you can't say that because that's going to come out really wrong. But Yeah, exactly. Um, the only reason why I know the different kinds of okay, this is logistical, not logistical. This is logical.
You know a lot
Okay,
about the
this
different
comes
kind of
from
wood?
yes, I do because I had a great no. Now, this is a family thing. I had a great uncle who was a master wood carver, and he used to create all these beautiful, ornate God, I love abalone shelled brooches and hair bands and belt buckles and so the serious side of that. This is why, because I grew up until he moved from Seattle back to a certain different section of Washington State. He became a master wood carver. So when I grew up and was around him, I got to see and learn all about these different kinds of wood, and so that's when I think of. And now you guys are making fun.
Hey, all
And
I
it's
can
because of
say,
how I
Nikki,
said it.
is that I have always been a naughty pine person myself. So
Oh, I love Naughty Pine. I got stories
Maybe
about
you
a
would.
Naughty Pine.
I can
About
tell
a
you
nau-
a couple of stories too. I don't know if they're really S4
No,
related, but
they're not. They're definitely not related. um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd say that.
my grandfather built a basement, and the basement was covered in Naughty Pine. And God, it was gorgeous. And I'm the one that whitewashed it all. He paid me as a teenager
okay.
to litter.
I
Okay,
cannot
no, 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 no,
continue this
no,
conversation,
no, no.
Nikki. You gotta stop whitewashing all that naughty pine. That's just
Oh, that's not what I mean, and you know it. But anyway,
I know. Oh.
yeah. So yeah, because I spent an entire summer. My grandfather was like, "Well, I need to have this work done, and I need to deal with this, this, and this. I will pay you." I don't remember. I think I was 14.
Yeah. We used to have corkscrew maples that grew in the backyard. Those are
Oh
fucking beautiful.
God. And they are difficult to cut, if I remember
Yes, they
correctly,
are.
from my great
And
uncle.
we had a oh god, myrtle wood tree. They're only supposed to grow in
Whoa.
certain areas in Oregon, but we had a myrtle wood tree in our backyard when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, in Linwood. My grandmother used to grow
Wow.
very exotic plants in our yards. And
Oh, I love
yeah,
exotic plants.
we had gunneras, all kinds of crazy shit.
Nice. Oh, see, I love that kind of stuff. That's awesome. Yeah, I love unusual plants and plants that are old school, and a lot of them remind me. Different plants remind me of family, and yeah. Anyway, I get off the subject, but yeah, so yeah, so that's how I knew my friend, and I knew most of his fake stuff. That he created, not that was created for him by government or anything like that. But yeah.
I happen to know specific people that you are talking about through this story. And
I'm sure you do.
I would have to agree with you on
It's not a slam.
a hell of a lot of them. So,
So, okay, I have a few questions about the DEW weapons.
Yeah.
For example, do the other people living in your household feel affected by them?
There's one individual who came into my room because I had to. I got up and walked out of my room, walked into the kitchen, and excuse me, one of the people that I live with was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm being hit with a frequency weapon in my bedroom where I was sitting, and I had to get up and move because I'm not going to sit there." And he was like, "Oh, let me go see." And he came in and he sat down, and the first words he's like, "Whoa, I am really lightheaded." And he was like, he's like, "I'm starting to spin. Whoa." And he got up and he moved out of my chair and over by my door, and he's like, what was that? And I went, that's a frequency weapon. That's a direct energy weapon. And he goes, wow. And he's never talked about it since.
Now, what about the dog?
As far as I know, when it's been pretty isolated. But if the dog comes and sleeps with me, I try to protect him. So that's kind of but if he's on the couch and I'm in the recliner, it's pretty, I was going to say it's pretty targeted. It's pretty isolated. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
It doesn't affect and I know what direction they're coming from. Sometimes they will come through a specific wall, and there's nobody above that area. There's nobody sleeping above that area. And there are times that'll come straight through the roof, straight down. So it depends on which location how else do you say this, shooting from? So it depends on if it's from satellite or if it's from the big, I found out in 2025 that some of these frequency weapons can also be on these 5G cell towers. Some of those weapons can actually be on these cell towers.
Okay.
And I don't remember how I found that out right now. There's just been too much that's happened in 2025. I'm just like inundated with information. So I still haven't gone back. I've had to retrain my brain because what the frequency weapons have done is I had a really, God, this just pisses me off no end. I had a really, really good brain in the sense of I had my dyslexia very, very well under control. It hasn't affected my memories, but it's affected my language. But it has affected the stripping of it's not a block, but how I trained my brain regarding my dyslexia. It's stripped that. And I went, are you fucking kidding me? I've got to retrain my brain now. I'm 57 years old, all those years worth of work from the time I was in 5th and 6th grade all the way up through high school. I had really good training of my brain with my dyslexia, and now that's all shot to hell. And boy, do I have choice words over that one. They haven't taken my memories, but they have taken my language set, and they are been trying, because of being hit so hard. There were a couple of times where I actually went blind on 2 occasions, scared the shit out of me. Now you got to remember, I was raised for when Grandma found out she was blind. I'm trying to remember how old I was. So for 4 years, I was raised around a grandmother who was legally blind and ended up having to go through the school for the Seattle School for the Blind in the 1970s, and they had they had to teach her how to live and be an active community member, or active member of society, I guess is how you put that. And she became that. Until her health went severely downhill, and then all hell broke loose regarding her health. But, and so I witnessed what she went through as a blind person, as trying to relive, and I treasure when I grew up with that and realized that I loved photography. It's something, my eyes I treasure very, very, very deeply. It's a big damn deal. Yeah, I did get upset. Yeah, it took me a while to restructure how I am thinking about things now. I took very good care of myself for quite some time after I had those experiences. Yes, it has affected my vision. But and yeah, I do need a new set of glasses, which, hello, for me that's about $500, so out of pocket. So yeah, there's that. So that's probably not happening anytime soon. So yeah, there are things like that it has affected my body in different ways. I am now. I'm not going to say that publicly, but anyway, yeah, that I do have other health issues that have been brought up because of this. So, and typically, and I came across because of another targeted individual who has been targeted for 15 years. He ended up dying at the end of November. And it is believed that he was severely, heavily targeted in September and October. And then just before he got deeply ill, it's believed within the targeting community, or the victims, I should say, of targeting community. It's heavily believed, and I do believe this, that he was severely targeted before 2 weeks before he got severely ill. I mean, like very, very severely targeted. And because of being at the community's kind of like send-off for him, I found out from somebody who is in a different community. They are they're either a nurse or a physician's assist. I can't remember what they are. They talked about how targeted individuals, what's being affected is you've got the brain, the thyroid, heart issues are a major one. So are kidney, liver, and cancers, all different kinds of cancers. And so, but typically it's the brain, the thyroid, and the heart. Those are the big key ones. The kidneys will eventually stop functioning on people who are targeted. And then some have had intestinal cancer. Others have had liver cancer. There are people who have fought all different kinds of cancers, all different across the board. And so these frequency weapons that are being used on people, it's done to deliberately cause medical illnesses to the point of death. And there were a total of 5 people, and I found out just 2 days ago that there was somebody else, some other big name, and I don't remember who it is right now at this second, but I was stunned. So 6 people in a year and 1 month that have died, that are in the targeting community, who are in the victims of targeting community, who are part of SSP, secret space programs, who are part of what we're part of government, or are part of government. They won't be part of government much longer. How much longer, I don't know. I just know that the other side has specifically shown me that a lot of the forms of deep state are going to be going away. I don't have a clue as to how that's going to happen. I just know that they're going to be null and void. But that all said, it's not going to be soon enough for a lot of people. A lot of people are, and the ones that are dying, they're dying typically of heart issues, major, unusual heart issues, things that, like heart issues don't run in certain people's families, and all of a sudden, but then they find that cancers and other things in autopsies. So you've got the main factor is the heart issues that are killing them. Yeah. And but when they go in and do the autopsy, now I just found out And I cannot say how I found out, but there is a way if you are not to find out if you have certain tracking, because there are ways that people can be tracked via these frequency things. There are ways to find out if the body is not cremated, and I didn't. That's the first I'd ever heard of that. And I'm like, I don't even know how the hell do you. It's a whole nother process that I heard of that I didn't even know it was in existence. And it's not something, it's probably the only time I'll ever talk about it. And if you ask me about it openly or publicly, or you meet me somewhere, I'm at some place and you meet me, I probably won't even know what the hell you're talking about, because I've deliberately put what I remember of that conversation and what I heard in a locked box. The fact that I'm even talking about it right now, it's like peeking. It's like peeking through the box. I don't know. It's like the lid is opened up a little bit and it's just peeking. So peeking through. So I've once this show is over with, I probably will have it completely locked down and I'll go, what the hell are you talking about? So if you ask me about it, that's probably going to be your response. So, and yeah, you can do your own lockdown memories. Will I teach that? I don't know. I know that, and the only reason why I say it that way is because I just got a glimmer from the other side about somebody in the future is going to ask me that. I don't know. There are things that I can teach, but I don't know. I know that if you go to like Virginia, who is the... who is it? It's not the director. It's who was the guy? I can't think of his name right now. See, this is the other thing. I can see him. I can picture him, but I can't think of his name. That's the other thing where they've taken names away from me. The guy who's very well known for remote viewing. I'll call him Marsden. That's not his last name. Anyway. James John, no, what the hell is his? Anyway, because of him, they created a remote viewing program that people can access and pay to get into and be taught and all different kinds of things. And I do know that those sections are still open. Or at least they were up until last year. I don't know if they are as of 2026, but there are ways that you can get taught different techniques and things like that. You don't need somebody like me. You just go to the pros who do it. Now, speaking of pros, I've been told by certain individuals, for me personally, never to get into and use... Oh, crap. It was a certain form of... all I can think of is R. Keith Andrews, because he was the very first person that told me this. Never to do... as a form of... Because I'm a natural, it would completely... screw up my natural abilities, and not to ever do... Can't think of the words. See, I usually also see the words in my brain, and that is something that they've taken away with the targeting, and that's just is very obnoxious and very pisses me off up one side and down the other. Anyway, so there are certain things, if you are a natural, there are certain things you do not want, and it's because of our Keith Andrews that I learned that is a big deal. And then I learned from others, yeah, it's a gigantic deal. Don't learn certain things. If you're a natural at it, learn other techniques that can advance your abilities, not detract and not train you That's not going to be the way that you can go. Is a phrase that's popping into my head right now. So you got to be careful if you're trying to advance your abilities, and you're a natural. So I guess there's a natural, and then there's folks who are not and training. Well, I wanted to be trained, and then I've since learned that for somebody like me, certain things should not be trained. You got to learn other techniques and other methods that work for you that can advance without minimizing what you're already doing and using. So think of that if you're looking to learn. Something else I was going to say. So for targeting, most people don't typically experience, well, they'll experience the kind of targeting that I'm receiving, but they've also experienced people being followed. Their vehicles, that's gang stalking, but it's also a form of government targeting because conglomerates can do that. They start paying people off. And then you've got to be careful on if you are a targeted individual, you got to be careful who you meet. Because those people can be a plant and put in your life. Man, it's wicked what I have learned about this kind of stuff. It's just mind-boggling. It's vicious, vile, insidious. It can affect not just you if you're driving alone, and it can affect everybody about you. From innocents who are in your vehicle that you're driving to different locations, your family members, your animals, or if you're targeted in a vehicle, it can affect the other people around you if you get into an accident. So you've got to be you got to be real careful with your trust once you start targeting. It's very, very insidious. And once you're targeted the way that I am, your trust issue goes down. I mean, it goes down to practically nil because you don't know if somebody is part of one of the plants. I've met people in this community, in those who are victims and survivors of it, who have told just horrific stories about people or even marriages that they got into, and come to find out the person only married them because it was part of the plan. What the hell? So yeah, you got to be very, very careful. It becomes relearning about trust and learning about your own intuition and listening to it, and yet at the same time, it's a hard thing to go through. It's really, really tough to go through. But the canopy, I'm not joking about the canopy. If you are targeted, think about putting building your own PVC canopy if it comes down to it, and covering that canopy with Faraday fabric. And in my own personal opinion, I would also put some kind of metal over the top of it, whether it's aluminum foil or some kind of sealing for that with the Faraday fabric, and create a Faraday fabric wall, kind of like what they did in Henry VIII's society when they covered their beds in curtains. At least you'll be able to sleep safer to some degree. It's not a guarantee, but at least to some degree regarding this kind of frequency, and you won't have to do it the way I'm doing it, because how I'm doing it just sucks. But it's an option, and it's working, and yeah. So that's targeting. That's just different kinds of examples, and not very many, but just mine.
Yeah.
I know people where they've been followed. They've got stalker after stalker after stalker, and it's all part of this gang stalking section of society. I mean, and they're being paid. They're being paid to stalk. And people are, they're doing it for the money. So, and this has been going on for a long freaking time. This is, and the kind of stuff my friend told me about, it just, I knew about certain things that government did. He's like, oh yeah, they will, and he went down a list of different things that they are very well known to do. And he goes, if it's these 3 to 5 ways, then it's this section of government. If it's 3 to 5 ways of this, then it's this government. If it's 3 to 5 ways of that, then it's this section of government. And I was just, he made my head spin with all of that. I was like, I'm not going to ask you how you know that, but does this section that you just mentioned, does it, and I asked the question, he's like, I can't get into what I know on that, but this, I'm going to give you, essentially he gave me what are known as the broad strokes. And I went, got it. Okay. And he's like, I said, I know you've got your mind, you've got the wall, the barrier up. And it's very few times that he removed the barrier between he and I. And so, and he's like, yeah, because I don't want you to get injured or anything because of me. I don't want anybody knowing about you. I'm keeping you as protected as I can. And he did up until the point that he died. That was really when I came out about him because in a specific year, and because I was just trying, I was the first one he came to. He didn't even go to his handlers that he knew that were psychic. Well, no, not, I need to rephrase that. He didn't go to his handlers. Stop, period. He also didn't go to those that he knew that were also government, that were psychic and or had abilities, period. That's how I should word that. So, but he came straight to me and he was like, your family. And I was like, and he showed me how he was murdered. And I just sat and bawled my eyes out. Nobody knew. And this was less than a day. And he talked about being a targeted individual. Because of the work that he did for government, he had another government on this planet unalive him for it. So he told one of the things that I will never forget. He's like, Nikki, do not ever become complicit. I knew somebody, and he was talking about a specific individual that I will never forget the tone in his voice. He was like, don't ever become complicit, because I know somebody that did, and that individual no longer cared anymore. They were out of it. They didn't want it. In other words, out of government. They didn't want anything to do with government. It wasn't their life anymore. He goes, but the thing is that once you are targeted, you will always be targeted, especially if you've got a hit put out on you. And different governments will do that with different other governments' people. And I went, yeah, I know, you're talking agents. He goes, I can't say if that's what I'm talking about, but I can tell you that's what they will do. And he goes, you cannot ever become complacent. Complacency will get you dead. Quote unquote, complacency will get you dead. And he said, if you ever want to have a life, you can never become complacent. You always have to have your head on a swivel 24/7. And he goes, that's really hard, especially when you get old. or if you're fortunate to live to your 80s, there are very few. With he didn't say. I'm trying to remember how he phrased it, but I can't even say how he phrased it, so it doesn't matter. No matter what age you get, even in your old age, you cannot become complicit because you don't know if the new ones, and I can't even fathom having to live like this, but you don't even know if the new ones that are coming in and you're in a nursing home, if you're fortunate to even make it to that level, or fortunate to make it to the level to where you have somebody coming in your home to take care of you. He goes, you will never know if it's one of them from another country, and I'm talking government, folks. I'm not talking how that's going to come across. How they could come in, infiltrate, and I looked. Well, I didn't look at him, but I was thinking of him at the time, and I was thinking of the picture in my mind at the time. I said, so you would never know if, say, a nurse or a doctor or a home health care worker or home health care aide is deliberately a government agent from another country and is there to unalive you. That's what you're telling me. And he said yes. And I went, wow, okay, that was a mind bender. He's like, you cannot, unless he goes, unless you get to the stage where you absolutely do not care anymore about your own life, you have to think about your family's life. If that person has family, that is. And I'm like, I can't even fathom having to live your entire life like that. I can't even fathom that. That's so, yeah. Those are the things that I've learned over the course of 2018 and what I've experienced. That's just some of what I've experienced. That doesn't even cover all of it, but that gives an idea.
All right,
it's really insidious.
Thank you, Nikki, for telling us everything.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more of Nikki's story, do not forget to join her every week on Restore Belief with Nikki Jacobs on YouTube. You can find her on Facebook and anywhere else.
Well, I am on Rumble. I haven't done anything with the account. I will be this year. I am on. Hang on,
Insta?
brain fart. Yeah,
You got the Snapchat?
I got Instagram. No, I don't have Snapchat, but I am on Instagram.
You got the TikTok?
So Instagram. Nope, not on TikTok. Hang on.
What the hell?
No, I think Rumble, and no, I'd be making money off of TikTok. However, that's a whole nother different government type
Nikki,
of situation.
Talked
And
about this. That's OnlyFans. That's the one you make money off.
yeah, that's actually something I need to do. I need to be making some money now. It's at a major point. Anyway, yeah.
You can also use Foot Finder. Brad.
What the hell is? We'll have a talk about that after the show because I don't have a dang clue what the hell that is. Never heard of that one.
Pictures of your feet, Brad. It's pretty lucrative.
Oh dear God!
I got scars, so like I make a lot of money.
Mine would be half price.
Oh jeez, Robert.
Actually, Robert, you would probably make the most out of any of us because if you just showed the stump. Fran, I am not kidding. There are some weird, sick individuals out there that will pay money for that. Fran.
Oh dear, folks.
Yeah, like when we talk about what's wrong with this world, well, Fran.
Hey, there you go.
You know.
Yeah.
Fran.
Yeah. Did you just say Robert is what's wrong with this world? You're a messed up person. God.
That's not at all what he said. So, I'm on YouTube, Rumble.
Did you say you're on Bumble? What the fuck?
Rumble.
Oh, okay. What is Rumble? Maybe I'm just dumb, but I don't know what that is. It's a lot
like Instagram. It's a lot.
Roll out.
It's very similar. What is the other one? I can't think of the name of the other one.
Instagram, TikTok.
I do have. I do have an account on X. I haven't done anything with it in a long time because that's become a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah.
So there's X, there's Instagram, there's Rumble, and there's one more that I can't think of. But yeah, that's what I'm on. It's either Restore Belief with Nikki, or it's Restore Belief, or it's Angels Nikki _ Angels Are Life. So
Alright.
you'll find me one way or another. I'm around. So anyhow.
Well, thank you, Nikki.
Friend.
Yeah,
All
you're
right,
welcome.
ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to go. It is now midnight. Friend, thank you for joining us as always.
She cried, mo.
Friend,
Oh God. The humor. I love the humor.
don't forget to join us next week, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, when we come back at you with whatever the fuck I come up with next week. Because I don't know.
Sounds about right.
That sounded so pro, though, didn't it? Like, just for, like, the first few seconds of that sentence? Like,
For the first few seconds, yeah. It was the last few
We'll be back
seconds
with-
that we had an issue with. But, hey, join us next week.
whatever the fuck I can pull out of my ass.
I
Oh my God,
highly
Cole.
doubt, well, I mean, I guess there's some people that would like to watch that.
That's on the S4 OnlyFans page.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank
Oh,
you for
goodness.
listening. Nikki, Robert, thank you as always for being here. And
Yeah.
Kayla, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep. Jesus.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
Now, bye now.
Bye, all.
Ciao. Something.
Ciao. Oh. Oh my
Data
God.
transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.